What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another late night in the Brew Lab with me, Lone Fox, your brew master in chief. And tonight in the Brew Lab, I'm coming at you with a mill deck, a freaking mill deck. Another episode of I cannot believe I'm playing a Stinky mill deck. And this might be the best one yet. But before we jump into tonight's brew, I did want to have a quick little look at the couple of spoilers that I might have missed over the last couple of days. So, what do we got here? Well, it looks like, and I was not playing Magic when the first set of charms came out, but through my perusing of the interwebs, it turns out that this is a cycle that's coming back. So we had a look at the Maestro's charm a couple of days ago. We've since then had the Obscura charm released or spoiled. So these are the various names of the crime families. Maestro's is the Grixis colors, or it'll kind of end up being one of those situations like in Strixhaven, where through like community, Magic the Gathering community sort of habitual terminology, we've settled on these names for the various color combinations because there was a set in the past that was really popular and sort of defined the color. What I think they call the shards, or the color pie. But then something like Strixhaven came along, and suddenly Silver Quill is Orzhov, and we had what were the other ones? Holy cannoli, Lorehold was Boros, and you know where I'm going with that. So it's going to cause a little bit of strife. People will still be calling this the Esper colors and the Grixis colors, but it's in this set it's going to be Maestros and Obscura. This one is pretty spicy. Return target multicolored permanent with mana value 3 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. The first thing that I think of is what's her name? Planeswalker. That is in. It's called Kasmina. Kasmina is a 3-mana Planeswalker that is multicolored, so that might be pretty interesting. Being able to bring that back from the graveyard to the battlefield, and Planeswalkers coming back tapped doesn't matter. You still get to do their loyalty abilities. Then the second option is counter target instant or sorcery spell, which is also just amazing. That's just normal price. Usually it's 2 blue and the colorless for that type of effect, but in a deck like in Esper Control, they're going to love to just pay 3 of the lands that we're already playing in the deck anyway to counter target instant or sorcery spell. That's just the, normal counter spell costs. So fantastic. And then the last option is destroy target creature or planeswalker with mana value 3 or less. That is probably, I don't know, we'll have to see what else comes out in the set, but right now, probably the option that's going to be used the least in this particular deck, because you're probably going to be running Vanishing Verses and all sorts of other stuff in these color combinations that'll be doing the destroying for you, and you wouldn't have to be have the caveat of the thing you're destroying have a mana value 3 or less. But anyway, so far these charms are just looking incredibly freaking amazing, and they're all uncommons, so rejoice. Our wild cards aren't going to be so damaged by crafting a full playsets of these things, and I think they're going to be the type of card that you will want a full playset of in the decks that play these colors. Which brings us to the newest one. This just came out today, Cabarettis. And if I have to be honest, I'm Italian originally, although my accent might not give me away. So, whenever I get to play Naya, it's the white, red, and green. That's the color of my flag. I'm like super stoked. And the Cabarettis sort of whole thing is like parties and stuff. The Cabarettis just fit my vibe. It also seems to be like the more aggressive clan or whatever crime family. This is my favorite one so far. So choose 1. Cabaret deals damage. Cabaret Charm deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control to target creature or planeswalker. So, you know, the wider you go, the more damage you can deal. Wish that was to any target, but it wouldn't fit the color pie sort of theme. And then the second option is creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample until end of turn. That is amazing. Like, that is just amazing. Imagine this just slotting neatly into your Naya Humans deck already, just as it is. Like, trample. Giving everything trample and +1/+1. I think that's really, really strong. And then, creatures... you create 2 1/1 green and white citizen creature tokens. So if you maybe have a second one in hand and you still don't have enough of a board where the other 2 options become relevant, then maybe you use the third one, start to create some creature tokens. This is going to fit really well in so many decks, and I just cannot wait to play it. But that's it as far as spoilers for today. Thank you all so much for bearing with me through them. Let's jump into tonight's brew. It's one I'm calling Hideous Calamity. And if you haven't guessed it yet, it's because we're running a full playset of Tasha's Hideous Laughter and 3 copies of Invoke Calamity. It is a mill deck, but it's not a full-on overt mill deck, okay? We've got just Hideous Laughter. That's the only mill card, or it's not even real mill because it's Exile, which is so busted. I hate playing against this card. And yeah, let's try and bring some of that hate into our opponents. So, we've got a full playset of Fading Hope. Typical sort of Izzet stuff. Make sure you're bouncing those early threats so that they cannot get through for damage while you're trying to arrange your, build up your mana and sort out your combo. Then we've got a full playset of Play with Fire, which is also just kind of my nod to, oh my goodness, what's it called? Why do I always forget the name of this card? Exile in red. It'll be right here at the top. Spikefield Hazard. Instead of running Spikefield Hazard, which just does 1 damage, I'm going for 2 damage. But my point is that it's instant speed, 1 mana, burn spell. And it can go face, importantly. So this can sometimes win you the game outright. You just Invoke Calamity, get back an Igneous Inspiration and a Play with Fire, or 2 Igneous Inspirations, and just go face, boom, boom, and that can do enough damage to win you the game often. But that's it as far as cheap interaction. The rest of the deck is a little bit more sorcery speed stuff. So we've got, of course, a full playset of Expressive Iteration, which is just the best card from Strixhaven, probably. You get to look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand, 1 on the bottom of your library, and exile them. You may play the exiled card this turn. So usually this is your turn 3 play before you play your land. If you've already got a land in hand, don't play that land. Cast Expressive Iteration first. Make sure find a land in the top 3 cards of your library, and make sure that that's the one that you pick third, so that it's the one that you get to play from exile. So then you can the next turn play the land that you have already in hand and get to 4 mana, straight away, which is fantastic. And helping us find our combo pieces, what have you. So and of course 4 of. Then we've got Galvanic Iteration, which is going to help us copy our spells. There's loads of spells in here that we would like to copy, namely Tasha's Hideous Laughter, of course. That's the main combo, right? We've all seen it. You can sometimes even do a double Galvanic into a Tasha's, and that generally ends the game because you'll be exiling the entire opponent's library. But even just something like double Fading Hope can be really annoying. You bounce through the opponent's threats just as they're about to swing in, or even just a double Play with Fire, or you name it, any of these things. A double Burn Down the House can sometimes make you 6 of those little devils, or if you need to do more than 5 damage, you can do 10 damage. Or my favorite one, of course, we've all seen it many times before. You get the double Unexpected Windfall. The first time you cast it, you do have to discard. The second one you don't, because somehow it's copied. So you just get because you don't need to pay the additional cost to cast the spell. The spell is free because it's copied, so then you don't need to discard. So you discard 1 card, draw 4, and create 4 treasure tokens, and that just sets up the next 2 turns fantastically, because you've now just ramped and filled your hand with a whole bunch of answers and things. So yeah, that's usually one of my favorite uses of Galvanic if we're not using it for Tashas. Then, brings us to Tashas. Exile opponent's cards from the top of their library until that player has exiled cards with total mana value 20 or more. Of course, this is a little worse in decks that play a lot of like top-end, top-heavy sort of decks, but either way, if you can cast this even without copying it, it starts to do some serious damage. I know you've all felt this when you're playing against Mill. Your draws just get all wonky. You're suddenly not finding your lands, or all you're finding is lands, or you know, the important things that you were hoping your top deck have now ended up in your graveyard. It really just kind of screws with the feng shui of your deck. And I often in this brew where we're not trying to do the usual, you know, I'm not running any Rune Crabs, I'm not running the other mill card, what's it called, Cacophony something, I believe, with the kicker. It's just Hideous Laughter, because it's more of a control deck that just happens to mill you out. So if you can cast this on turn 3 without copying it, doesn't matter. Just it ends up in the graveyard, and that's very important because later on we'll just recast it with Invoke Calamity. Then, Igneous Inspiration, full playset. Coming back, we ran this card a few days ago in the Boros list because we did want access to a lovely little lesson board, which increases our win cons. We can have some mascot exhibitions going on, some card draw, some, you know, find your lands, some artifact removal, some exile, some scry and draw, that sort of stuff. Just the usual suspects in the lesson board. And that's why I'm running a full playset of Igneous Inspiration, whereas we might, you know, there's now some really nice 3-mana spells in red that I would like you to look at, just for future reference, if you haven't seen this already. Rendering Flame, kind of taking the place of Soul Rip that we used to have. Oh, yeah, I think it was Soul Rip. It's like that 5 damage, removes indestructible. That was so good. It's out of standard right now, it's rotated out, so here's a new one, Rendering Flame. Instant speed, 5 damage. 2 creature or planeswalker. Boom. Clean and simple. But there's a tiny bit of an upside, I guess. I mean, if the thing you're targeting is a spirit, Rendering Flame also deals 2 damage to that permanent's controller. There's lots of spirits running around in the format. I was initially running a full playset of Rendering Flame instead of Igneous Inspiration, but it doesn't go face, unlike Igneous Inspiration, and it doesn't give you access to a lesson board. And I honestly didn't need that much damage because we've got Burn Down the House. If we get to the point where we're overwhelmed, we'd just rather use a sweeper than you know, spot removal. So that's why I've decided to swap it out for Igneous Inspiration, which brings us to Prismari Command. Just fantastic card, of course, but really in here to deal with the Seeker's Chariots and all the other artifacts that are lying about. But if we are in a match that there are not too many artifacts to deal with, then we can just use the, you know, treasure creation or the card draw. There's plenty of versatility in Prismari Command. I might even try and find a way to sneak in a 3rd copy if I can. Then, got a full playset of Unexpected Windfall, of course. Ramp, card draw, you name it, just amazing. I've already discussed the Iteration Windfall synergy. Let's try and get that off at least once during tonight's gameplay footage and really, you know, ramp up into our 5 drops in spectacular fashion. Talking about 5 drops, we got a full, 3 copies of Burn Down the House. Again, kind of learning from last night's mistakes with the Rakdos deck. By the way, if you haven't checked that out, Rakdos Egg Control, so much fun to play. But I had like 4 of each of the invokes, which are 5 mana spells, and I was drawing too many opening hands with like 2 or 3 of them in there that you just are unable to cast till way later in the game. Sure, you definitely want to find these spells every game because they're really important, but 3 generally does the trick, especially on the top end of the curve. So Burn Down the House, Sweeper, or Making Little Devils, and Invoke Calamity, the main card of the deck. Alongside Tasha's Hideous Laughter. We want to recast those Tashas that we've previously casted from the graveyard a 2nd time. So if we've managed to get 2 Tashas into the yard, you know, on turn 3 and maybe turn 4, because we were not able to do the combo with Galvanic, then we've got the backup option. We just cast Invoke Calamity, re-go fetch both of those Hideous Laughters from the graveyard and cast them again for free, and that generally closes the game out. And that's the deck. Nasty Mill, Stinky Mill. We've got the usual suspects here in the mana base, just 1 of each creature land. 2 of each legendaries, some duels, some basics, and 2 Field of Ruins. Let's jump into some games. By the way, this deck I am dedicating to my one and only Patreon and dear friend, Ed. This is for you. Happy birthday. Thank you for, being a patron of the channel and a good friend who I like to bounce ideas off of when I'm brewing. By the way, my Patreon link is in the video description down below. If you want to become a Patreon, I'm gonna be, doing this type of thing for you. If you'd like to, bounce deck ideas off of me, get help with something that you're currently brewing, you name it. And of course, all the funds from that Patreon are going to go towards improving the quality of the stuff on the channel. I need to invest in a better camera, I need to invest in a better microphone, I need to invest in a few things. So yeah, that would be much appreciated. Nice little opening hand. Sort of everything we need, really. And that's not bouncer. Let's kill it with the inspiration. Vermin rodent. Okay, we need the 2 blue for Tasha's. We do need the 2 red for the Unexpected Windfall, so I really do think we just need to go grab an Environmental Sciences so that we can get that second red source if we don't draw it next turn. Because I do want to go Unexpected Windfall into, hopefully, Galvanic. Oh, yay. Naya aggro. Naya humans. This is, in my opinion, I've said it so many times, I will keep saying it. For those of you who want to make like a quick, speedy, mythic run, mono white's all good and fair and fine and dandy, but Naya is really where it's at. Alana and Helena, once it hits the board, is just disgusting. Ooh, okay. Second red source. Maybe he's got a second Elite Spellbinder in hand that he's planning to get rid of our Tasha's with. Not get rid of, but yeah, you know what I mean. Ooh. That's a pain in my butt. Push out. And you can't bounce Spellbinders, because get to scry. Perfect. There we go. Here comes the combo. Wow, that's a very different Naya aggro. Got some Kimonos in there. How many did we get? He's down to half his library, basically. Whew. It's effectively just making Unexpected Windfall uncastable. But we just need one more land to get rid of these guys with our burn down the house. Oh, no, sorry. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, one more land. No, sorry, 2 more lands. Redain, huh? The real thorn in control deck's sides. Kind of coming back a little bit. Okay, that's cool. That's really cool. Let's go with maybe red for our good friend. He's probably got a save spell, Tamios or something like that. No? Woo! Okay. That's cool. That's cool. This can deal with the Spellbinder for 1 damage. We've also got burned on the house now. Hopefully there's no Alana and Helena. We did mill one of them, I believe. Yeah, we only milled the one, so there's probably another 2 or 3 in the deck, so... Doesn't look like he has one in hand. Although, he's probably thinking, I do have one in hand, but if I cast it, he'll just sweep both of them, so... Nice. You know, sometimes knowledge isn't power. He knows I've got it. Okay, should we go for this? Let's see if he's got the Tamios this time. No. Okay. Feeling a little confident now, a little bit safer. No matter what he plays, we can deal with it with Burn on the House, pretty much. Double, double. Did he draw the Indestructible now? 1, 2. Let's make some devils. Try to get through that. No sweepers in this list that I need to worry about. Now we can just play the stall game, you know? He's got 22 lands. We'll definitely find another Tasha's sooner rather than later, so I'm not too worried. We just need to, like, make sure he doesn't attack us. You know, Flyer plus Lana and Helena would be the real problem here. Ooh. Perfect. I like very much. How many Tashas have we got in the yard? Just the one. So what could we do? We could go 1 Tasha's and 1 Igneous Inspiration. I like that. Does he have the, you know, Snakeskin Veil? No. Fetch the exhibition and mill a bunch more. That's the problem with Naya. I mean, most of the stuff's really cheap. I think the opponent knows what's gonna happen next. Let's go in with 4. Why not? I feel so evil doing this to Naya, but this is Mr. 1464. I'm pretty happy, if I must be perfectly honest. I do feel a little disgusted when I'm milling, but as long as we get the wins, right? How much would we need to do a double mascot exhibition here? 3, and then that leaves us with 1, 2, 6. Oof, 1 short. We got 4, 5, 6. Okay, we can do the double windfall though. And just put Burn Down the House in the yard. Not too bothered with that. Sure. Why the hell not? He's got 3 cards left in his library, so I'm honestly not too worried. Off you go! Dispatched! On to the next one. Server's a little slow there. Might be my internet acting up. Hopefully not. Seluzak. 84. Okay, that's a huge swing from what we were playing previously. Sure. Mono white. There's the second blue land we needed for Tasha's. Very nice. Mono white with no plays on turn 2. I guess he was playing around my... Let's try and get a combo off. I think keep him scared that I've got a counter spell. Okay, so Lesnia. Might be Naya again. We've even got mana for okay, so it's just enchantments. Okay, we've got a second copy. I think I'm just gonna go for an initial. Woohoo! Nice. Bye bye, Hallowed Haunting. Yay. Burn down the house is going to be great if he makes a bunch of these spirits. Sure. We take quite a bit of damage next turn. Yeah, let's not risk it. Now his Michigo is just useless. All I want is Expressive Iteration off the top, and I can call it a day. Naturalist. Fine, let's just do this. We can do a double one next turn if we get a third, one more red source. We've still got 20 life. I think we're okay to sort of just take a bit of damage now. We should have done a lot of real annoying stuff to his, you know. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. That's potentially game-ending damage if we don't. We just lost. We just lost the game. Such a pity. I think we just lost the game. He'll just do the double Weaver of Harmony, and it's going to become too big for me to handle. Such a pity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If we tap 2 to get a red source, we'll be left with... Have I got this right? Oh no, we got him. I think we got him. Thank goodness for that Field of Ruin. I think that's game. Yep. Fuck it. Enchantments. Off you go.
It's fully a deck, this mill strategy. Unfortunately, I am afraid we might see a little bit more of it as things progress, because Invoke Calamity is just another way of getting those Tashas recast. And I don't think I've ever seen that card. On to the next one. How are we doing for time? Half an hour in? Perfect. We've got at least another couple opponents to mill out. Hey man, hey man. And that was such a good cartoon when I was a kid. I used to love that shit. Okay, we got the combo pieces in hand. I think we'd probably just send the Fading Hope back to the library, because we'd rather have some removal rather than some bounce. What do you reckon? The number of times I've mistaken, you know, one iteration for the other. More times than I care to admit. We need to get to 5 lands without dying. That's nice. Doesn't really matter. Gain a little bit of life. We need 3 blue. So if we don't find one next, I might have to just burn down the house instead or something. It's looking like Gruul werewolves. Oh, Naya. Naya wolves. Nice. At least he's not leveling up the ranger class yet. Let's go get another blue. And then depending on what the opponent plays next turn, we either burn down the house or we go for the combo. We'll probably burn down the house. Yeah, definitely burning down the house. Oh, it's gonna feel amazing. Gonna go pretty low here, but not so low that I'm dead. And these decks tend to struggle with the rebuild. Zap! Bye-bye. Now they start leveling up the ranger class usually. Okay. Yep. And now we go for the combo. Backup Tashas. And then we can use the Sokenzan to do the Calamity. Oh, that's just great. Oh no, I just lost the game. Unless we mill them out now, I've lost the game. Oh, that's so stupid. Oops. I didn't see the den. Good game. That was a humongous misplay. I'm sorry, guys. Totally missed the den there. Would have been 3 for 5. Yeah. So silly. So silly. I mean, it's not like we had an alternative. We would have won anyway. So, well done, opponent. And silly Lone Fox for missing that one. My bad. AVS Fanatic. Sure, I'll keep that. It's a bit risky, but we've got the iteration to make our next drop. Sure. Oh goodness, it's Naya again. Hmm. Not looking good. Not looking good at all. Unfortunately, I think it's probably going to be a GG again. Naya is so quick. It's so damn quick. If you don't get that sweeper exactly on time, it's game over. Oh, that's okay. Can't expect to mill out everybody that you play. We're gonna have to try and maybe get some earlier sweepers in here. How are we feeling about what's this one called again? The Foretell one. Crush the weak. Get rid of Prismari command. I think that's fine. Seeing as how many aggro decks are still running around in the format, like non-stop, just mono white, Naya, mono white, Naya aggro, mono white. It's like, I mean, we're at the point where standard is 100% solved as far as like crazy powerful decks. There isn't going to be anything coming out of nowhere and completely shifting the meta. So I think we're going to have to wait for some fresh cards for that to happen. Okay, Shuffler is fine. Orzhov hates being milled. Sure. It's our second combo piece, so let's go find a land to then do the thing. Galvanic into Hideous. What is with the Shuffler, man? Give me a break. Okay, let's just get red, because anyway, we're gonna need both. Probably poop out a token, and we can just bounce the token.
Overconfident. You're just underwhelming. We must
And we get
protect
to
the people.
blue source identified. Beautiful. Sure. Sure. Mill yourself more for me. Thank you.
May your blade strike true.
Just really expensive spells. Down to 9. Whew. No problem.
Remember your training.
Okay, are you sure you want to be doing that? So now we can go double Igneous. Stop that damage coming through. No creature lands this time that I need to worry about, and almost certainly nothing with haste. I think we should be able to survive a couple more turns.
We must
Well,
protect the people.
Okay.
Anyone who harms my people must May your blade strike true.
Okay, I think we got teachings into another Igneous, which will allow us to survive one more turn, at least. And we've got the exhibition for the next turn, if we don't find our mill card.
I've got new moves to teach you.
Oh, he's just gonna sacrifice it. Good game. So close, guys. So close. Oh my goodness. How many? Down to 3. Well done, opponent. Well done. All right, we've arrived at the final match of the night. Let's try and end it on a win. You know how much I love that. And then we'll jump back into the brew with my final thoughts and potential deck upgrades. Crush the Weak would have been really handy there, because he wouldn't have gotten the death triggers off of the meat hook. Very wise of the opponent to get that meat hook down early. Not again with these types of dudes. Okay, land is great. Another land is also great. Why not? Okay. We're doing the thing again. Except again, this deck plays very expensive cards, which Tasha struggles to mill. Like, you know, Invoke Despair and all those 5-mana Planeswalkers and things, so... Cannot channel our Crucible because I need that for the combo. But I'm happy to get the Field of Ruin for the various hives that are going on here. Okay, I think we get to do it twice. Next turn again. That was a good one. If he swings in with the hive and takes the Galvanic, what a pity. What a pity. I would have won the game next turn. Okay. We can get Expressive. There's another Galvanic. Okay, now we just need to survive. Oof, okay. I think if he tries the same maneuver with the hive, I'll just bounce it. So save us from taking a bit of damage. Okay, Loth is fine.
That a gift in exchange for loyalty.
Why not? We've got the mana to do it anyway. Sure, just in case. No loyalty for you, my dear Spider Queen. And here we go. Is this gonna end the game? Fingers crossed. I'm fairly certain that it will. Yeah, that's game. Bye-bye. It is kind of satisfying, you gotta admit. Do we get the salty rope now? A little Salt Bay action. Well, now that the opponent is roping us, because he's a salty human being, we can discuss something that I wanted to put up as a poll on the community tab, and I probably will do so anyway, because I know not all of you stick around to the end of the videos. But I'm thinking of doing some like more lore-based content. There's a bunch of these stories that are coming out as part of every set, and I read them myself off screen. They're definitely very fun to read and informative, kind of gives you a better understanding of, you know, the storylines behind the set that you're about to play. So then once you get the cards, it's kind of like, aha, okay, that makes sense and all that sort of stuff. And I am a fairly good orator, if I can toot my own horn just a tiny bit. So if you guys would like me to do that, I would really enjoy to. So please let me know in the comments down below what you think about that. I can just read them, and I put on voices for the characters and things like that. I do it for my kids. It's and you know, I've got a background in acting, so if you guys would like to see some of that lore content, then let me know. But we did manage to end on a victory, so I'm very, very happy. Pretty good score there. I think we went so we lost 2 matches and we played 6, I think, so 4-2 with the Stinky Mill deck version 3. So that's going to be it for tonight's video as far as gameplay is concerned. Let's jump back into the deck and discuss briefly. You know, if Mill is really your only plan, you might be better off running some slightly different cards than, you know, what I've gone with here. Probably can, you know, get rid of Play with Fire and things like that. But I wanted it to be more of a is-it control deck that just happens to mill you out if you get the combo off. Because, you know, as we saw in game 1, there was, you know, we did end up milling the guy, but burn down the house, his little devils getting doubled up by by Galvanic can be a win con. We've got, you know, the exhibitions, the creature lands, you know, Hall of the Storm Giants, that sort of stuff. Or, you know, we can just go for the Invoke Calamity and burn plan. So it's not just relying entirely on Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Those of you who follow lots of content creators will have noticed that Patrick Swayze put up a deck almost exactly like this, and I promise you I did not copy him. Those of you who follow the channel avidly will know and will have seen this Hideous Calamity deck there in my reservoir of decks that I have on the back burner for quite some time. So I did, you know, this was my own idea, and our brews different, are slightly different. He went for the full playset of the Cacophony as well. And the Crush the Week idea I just snagged off of him because I actually watched his video just before I hit record on mine. I was like, "Durr!" But anyway, if you don't know who Patrick Swayze is, go give him a follow. The guy's brews are like some of my favorites on the whole Magic scene. Like, he's really, really good at coming up with just the type of deck that tickles my fancy. Go give him a follow. If you do, tell him I sent you. And yeah, that's the deck. Wouldn't make a single edit. I like it just the way it is. I hope you do too. I will see you all tomorrow for some fresh brews. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until then, this is Lone Fox from the BrewLab, signing out. Peace, y'all.